here we go again. I really would have been able to get a feel of exactly when. There's a bug flying around here. I have 6 competency units yet. It's what pacing guide for December. My Utah, there's the bug again.
Reciprocity.
Cool. Now I know how to say it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 WGU tips. I'm going to split it into 2 parts so it's not super long for you guys. And my part 1 is going to be specifically for the Teachers College if you're going for licensure in your state. My part 2 will just be for WGU as a whole. I'm going to jump right into my first 5 tips. Tip number 1 is make sure you're following the pacing guides. The pacing guides are important because following that will lead you to your requirements for your cohort for your demonstration teaching. So, for example, my pacing guide is for my spring 2019 demonstration teaching cohort. What I do is I print it out and I just follow it. This is like my life saver for school, and it just breaks it down from every month about what you should have done by that time. This is super important. It's one thing that I wish that I had access to or even knew about before I even started WGU, because when I was planning out my classes, I thought that I could just have any classes left until the end of December, but that's not the case. They have a very strict deadline that you need to meet. For example, this is the pacing guide from January 2018. They do change these often, so you have to make sure that you're always checking that you have the most up-to-date copy. The one that they have now is, I believe, from March, and for this pacing guide, it says that I need to have 6 competency units left by September 1st. But for the newest pacing guide, for my degree plan, Interdisciplinary Studies, the latest pacing guide that they have released is, I believe, from March, and that one says that I need to have 9 competency units. So it added 3 more, so I wasn't as much of in a rush to get my classes done by September 1st to apply for demonstration teaching. This is going to tell you when you need to have your background checks done, when you need to have your exams done, when you need to have your passing scores from your exams submitted, when you need to have your orientations done for PCE and DT. This will be your lifesaver. You can Google search this. You do not need to be enrolled into the school to have access to this. I will link it down below for you guys so you can check that out and see what you need to do. You basically just scroll down to your degree plan and then click on what cohort you want. You can look at both of them. If you're really early in your degree plan and you're not sure which one you want, you can take a look to see when deadlines are, to see what is going to work best for your schedule. This is super important. Make sure you're following this pacing guide if you're in a program that leads to licensure. If you guys want me to do a more detailed video on this pacing guide and all the requirements that are on it, just let me know in the comments below and I can get that video out for you guys. And I also will say that there are a lot of hard deadlines in this, and there are cases where you can appeal. So if you cannot apply to your cohort by that date, you can appeal it, but there's really no guarantee that you will get in. So my suggestion is just make sure you're following them and get to the deadlines, get things done when you need to get them done, so you don't have to worry about appealing to get into the cohort that you want. Tip number 2, make sure that you know exactly what exams are required for your state. So I'm going to need to get my license through Utah first. I'm a reciprocity state. In order for me to get licensed in my state, I need to go and get licensed in Utah first and then have it transferred over to my state. So Utah requires more exams than my state requires. So I can't remember which one it was exactly. I believe that Utah requires the basic skills and my state does not. So I needed to take the basic skills Praxis 5751, and I also needed to take the content exams 5001 Praxis. So make sure you know what exams are required for your state. Make sure you know if you're a reciprocity state or if you're just getting licensed directly through your state, because that will be super important, and that is part of the pacing guide. You need to have your grades submitted by a certain time, and you need to have proof that you have signed up to take those exams. Now, you can also go online and find out what is required for your state before you even start at WGU. I will also link that down below so you can kind of get an idea of what you need to get done throughout your degree plan. And Tip number 3 goes along with tip number 2, and it is to take those exams as soon as you can. So the biggest tip is to take your basic skills exam right after your math exam. Now, I know different states require different tests, and these may not be the tests that you need to take in your state, but for me personally, I needed to take the basic skills and the content exams. Basic skills had to be taken first because in order to get approved for my preclinical experiences, I needed to have that basic skills exam passed. The biggest suggestion is to take the basic skills exam after your Math for Elementary Educators 3. You may not have this in your degree program, so my suggestion would be to take it after your math courses, not the math methods courses, because that is more specifically related to how you will teach the children math, but more towards the Math for Elementary Educators or your college algebra, whatever your latest math course is, and take it right after that. With the content exams, I would suggest taking it, I would give yourself enough time after the basic skills to take it. I took my basic skills in April. I think in April I took mine, and then I waited until August to take my content exams. Ideally, I probably would have taken my content exams a little bit earlier, but that's just not how it worked out for me. But I would just kind of take them when you felt comfortable to take them, because it's nice just to get those out of the way. And you need to give yourself a little bit of time for a retake if you need to retake them. A lot of people find themselves taking them at the last possible minute, and then they fail a portion of it, and then that completely messes up their demonstration teaching alignment. And some people will, even because they didn't have enough time to retake it, or they didn't have enough time to get their scores back in, that they actually just couldn't be in that cohort anymore. So take them as soon as you're comfortable and as soon as you're ready to take them. Tip number 4 is to make sure that you're getting your background checks done on time. So for my state, I needed to do a local background check, which was required by WGU to get my PCE placement. I also needed to do my Utah background check, which I had to reach out to the Utah Board of Education. They sent me in fingerprint cards. I had to go to my local police station to get those fingerprint cards done as well, and then I had to send them out to Utah. So when I spoke to the lady from the Utah Board of Education, she said there is already an FBI component to the Utah background check, so I didn't need to go through the FBI channeler like some people will have to do. So I needed to get those 2 done, and then when I went to apply for my preclinical experiences within my school district also required a local background check. So I had to get another background check done. So I think I got fingerprints in a total of 4 times, which is a little excessive, but I mean, if it's necessary, it's necessary. We want to make sure that the kiddos are being taught by someone who does not have a criminal background or anything like that. So, you know, it's for the safety for the kids. I'm all for it. So just make sure you're getting those background checks in. Some of them can take a week, some of them can take 3 or 4 months. Get them done as soon as you can, but also make sure that you're checking how long they last. Some background checks last up to 2 years, some of them 5 years, but just make sure you're not taking them too soon. For me, because I accelerated so quickly, it didn't really matter when they expired, because I knew that I was going to be in the classroom doing my demonstration teaching before they did expire. My 5th tip for the Teachers College at WGU is to make sure that you're looking into your field experience as soon as possible. Look into it now, look into it as soon as you start, find out which districts you can reach out to. As soon as you start, as soon as you get enrolled into WGU, you will have a field experience page. Just click on that. You can go through. It'll show you a map of your surrounding areas, and it will show you districts that give you the green light that you can go ahead and reach out to them yourself, or it'll be gray and it'll say that there has been no connection made yet, or it'll be red and it says absolutely do not reach out to these districts, that WGU needs to place you into those districts. For PCE, a lot of students have to do their own placement. I had to do my own placement. I had to go to schools and give them a copy of my resume and my PCE log and ask them if they would host me. And one principal was gracious enough to accept me for my PCE hours that I'll be starting in a few weeks. And I think I went to 5 different schools and I followed up with emails, and only one principal got back to me. So I'm very thankful for that, but just make sure you're looking and you're working closely with your field placement coordinator to make sure that you're getting a placement, because I also right now I'm seeing a lot of people that need to get their PCE placement before that September 1st deadline, which just passed, and they're having a really hard time still. So just try to find that PCE placement as soon as possible. If you don't have that PCE placement by the time the deadline in your pacing guide says, then you will not be able to take that cohort unless you appeal. And like I said, the appeals process is hit or miss. You may get it, you may not. You don't want to really gamble that when you're so close to the end. You don't want something so little to just kind of stop you in your tracks. So I hope you enjoyed those 5 tips. Yes, I am in a different spot and wearing different clothes, and I have no makeup on because when I was filming my video, apparently it stopped recording halfway through, and because I had no more memory left on my memory card. So, hashtag real life. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can see part 2 of my top 10 WGU tips. Thanks guys, talk to you next time. For me personally, I needed to do my local background check, WGU, can't say it fast. Say it 3 times fast. WGU. You can't do it. I challenge you to say WGU 3 times fast. Let me see those videos. WGU.